Abushimega Bidialas Yetichaskinas were American Yatsel Nahatnira Haigagani Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Have you ever wondered why would you stop your car at the stop sign? Or when you see a red light, you will just make sure that you don't go through the intersection. There are two reasons for that. One is your logic, and you being a human being, saying to you that there are rules that you have to follow. And the other one is the hefty ticket that you have to pay after you commit that illegal action. So in life, we go through all these legal and illegal aspects of what is life. And yet, sometimes we do stop on stop signs, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we pass the red light. As human beings, we are always trying to think ahead of everybody else, because it's a race that we go through. So, when you see the stop sign, you'll stop. And if there is no stop sign, you just proceed. It's been quite a couple of weeks that the Armenian television stations in Armenia and Los Angeles are showing a reality show called Glendale Life. And then, within this couple of weeks, there are so many articles being printed in Armenia and so many dislike within the community here regarding that particular show, saying that it does not reflect the reality of the Armenian life in Glendale Life. And I wasn't going to talk about this thing at all, but it is so astonishing how the human being utilizes its logic. Where there's an article from Armenia saying, how come the city of Glendale is allowing such a program to be aired? You have to take in consideration two elements. One is the Soviet Union mentality where the government controls everything. And it's been 23 years that Armenia is independent, and the ability of choosing different elements in life. So in 2014, we're almost 23 years after the Soviet Union's collapse, and the Armenian mindset is still backward. It's saying that how come the city of Glendale is allowing a show such as the one called Glendale Life to be aired. Now, I'm not trying to justify the program, or I'm not talking for it or against it. I'm just talking about the mentality of the Armenian human being in the year 2014. It should be very ashaming to realize that we are still backward in our way of thinking. I know so many people will not understand what I'm talking about. But yet, you do have a choice of watching that show or not. Just as so many of you who are sitting on the left don't like what I say, but you guys sit down and watch my show. But you do have a choice of flipping the channel to another program and watch it. You are given a choice of over 500 TV stations if you include the internet, if you include the free-to-air programs, and if you include all the charter cable programming in Southern California, in particular Glendale, Burbank, La Crescenta. So why do you think that Armenians are so offended by a program called Glendale Life? Is it the language spoken in there? It is exactly how our kids are speaking on a daily basis. It is the way of living. Probably so many cannot afford to live in that luxury, and that's the jealousy of that. And then the funny thing is that in one of the articles from Armenia, I even read about in 1915, 100 years ago, Armenian virgin woman through themselves so that they will not be part of the rape and such on. And yet here we see Armenian women showing their half bodies naked and such on. Is it relevant? What happened 100 years ago to how we live today? Within the 100 years, so many Armenian women have made love and even have just experienced their sexual behavior with so many men. That's their private life. They can do anything they want. We as a society, do we have the burden of coming and saying, you as a female, Armenian female, you cannot have an orgasm because you are an Armenian woman? Because Armenians were the first Christians. The whole Bible talks about sexual behavior. Yet Armenians have a word called amote. So again, I know that Armenians will not understand, even English-speaking Armenians will not understand why I'm talking about this right now, and they think I'm defending the program. I am defending the right to express, no matter it's about your sexual behavior or your relationship with your God. It's so interesting that people on any program, it could be a reality show about Armenian Christians, and it's going to show how idiotic people will act and react to so many things. But they do have the right for expression. I sometimes flip the stations and see some of those Armenian Christian evangelical tele-evangelists talking about Christ. I sit down and I crack up and I laugh at them. But it doesn't bother me. I don't create a fuss saying that they have no right to go on the air and talk about it. I just flip the channel and watch something else. I might watch a porno movie. That's my private life, if I enjoy it or not. So now, being a TV program, I have, by the way, because of this, so many issues and articles written about, I sat down and I watched 2 of those shows. So automatically, the people who were talking against it made me sit down and watch it. So when I talk about it, I should know what am I talking about. I didn't see anything wrong in there. It's just females and males behaving. I mean, I have seen programs from Armenia, so-called the soap operas, where they're raping a woman, where they're killing a man, where they're taking advantage of the poor. And nobody has said, is that the proper portrayal of Armenian life in Armenia? It is so ashamed that when it comes to the sexual behavior of a human being, Armenians turn into an asexual human beings. After the commercial break, I will continue my topic about freedom of choice. And nobody can force the other person to do something or not to do it. Let's go to the commercial break.
Have you protected him? Have you protected her? Look safe. Don't leave him hanging. Have you put real thought in his future? Have you protected your kid's future? Let's create a trust. Assign them a guardian to protect his future. Contact Dare Parsegian Law Group. We are here to help.
Էնսինոյում գտնվող Terrace Restaurant and Lounge-ը միջին արևելյան ճաշարանների բազմությունից առանձնանում է լավագույն լիբանանյան խոհանոցով։ Ճաշարանի շքեղ բացօթյա սրահը անկրկնելի է բուրավետ հուկա վայելելու եւ միջին արևելյան ախորժալի խորտիկները ճաշակելու համար։ Ուրբաթ եւ շաբաթ կենթանի նվագախումբը, DJ-ն ու գեղեցկուհի պարուհիները ձեր ժամանցը կհամեմեն միջերկրական կրքոտ ռիթմերով։ Ճաշարանը բաց է շաբաթը 6 օր, ճաշին եւ ընթրիքին։ Անմահական ուտեստներ, անկրկնելի միջավայր։ Terrace Restaurant and Lounge 25 տարի համայնքի հետ, համայնքի համար։ 25 տարի շարունակ Հորիզոն հեռուստատեսությունը արձագանքել է ժամանակի պահանջներին ու բավարարել ամենատարբեր նախընտրությունների հեռուստադիտողին։ Հորիզոնը մշտապես ներկայացրել է հայ համայնքի քաղաքական, մշակութային, հասարակական ներուժը, բարձրաձայնելով հայի կարծիքն ու դիրքորոշումը։ Հավատարիմ իր առաքելությանը, Հորիզոնը Հարավային Կալիֆոռնիայի հայ համայնքին առաջարկում է անվճար կապուղիների միջոցով լինել հայոց աշխարհի իրադարձությունների կիզակետում։ Արդիականացման աշխատանքներից հետո Հորիզոնն այսօր արդեն եթերում է 10:06 հաճախականությամբ։ Մեզ միանալու համար անհրաժեշտ է ընդամենը մեկ ամենասովորական ալեհավաք։ Հաջորդ քայլով միացնում եք ալեհավաքը հեռուստացույցի համապատասխան մուտքին։ Հեռակառավարման վահանակի վրա սեղմում եք որոնող կոճակը եւ 10.6 ալիքի միջոցով հայտնվում եք գիտակրթական, տեղեկատվական, հանրամատչելի, ժամանցային ու որն ամենակարևորն է, տեղական բազմազան հեռուստահաղորդումների հորձանուտում։ Հորիզոն հեռուստատեսությանն անվճար միանալու համար անհրաժեշտ է ընդամենը մեկ հպում։ Տեխնիկական հարցերի համար կարող եք դիմել 818 400 0395 հեռախոսահամարով եւ մենք կօգնենք ձեզ դառնալու մեր հեռուստադիտողը։ Պահպանեք լավագույն ավանդույթները։ Միացեք Հորիզոնին։
Գիտեք արդյոք, որ ամեն չորրորդ կին ենթարկվում է ընտանեկան բռնության։ Ընտանեկան բռնությունը այն վարքն է, որը դրսևորվում է մի անձի կողմից մյուսին իշխելու եւ ճնշելու նպատակով։ Դա կարող է արտահայտվել ծեծով, բղավոցով, հայհոյանքներով, ընտանիքից եւ ընկերներից մեկուսացնելով, ստորացնելով, ֆինանսական հսկողությամբ եւ այլն։ Եթե դուք կամ ձեր ծանոթը ենթարկվում եք ընտանեկան բռնության, զանգահարեք այս համարով։ Զանգի գաղտնիությունը երաշխավորված է։ Դուք միայնակ չեք, ձեզ կարող են օգնել։
So the topic right now is about choice and mentality of who dictates on you what to do and what not to do. If you have seen all the soap operas coming from Armenia, if you have heard about all the legendary relationships that Armenian men have in Armenia, they're all married, they do have few girlfriends on the side, the wife knows about them. This is life in Armenia. Now, in those soap operas, you see those things too. But as Armenians who have the surp endanik, the sainthood of a family, you know, Armenian families are different than any other families on this planet. Would anybody from Armenia say, how come you're portraying the Armenian family like that? If you go into the social behavior of humanity and the social behavior of the Armenians, I'm sure at least one of you knows about somebody in their family who the mother-in-law does not talk with the bride. The mother-in-law does not talk with her sister. The father-in-law does not talk with the son, and such on, and they all call each other names. So, probably if a reality show about Armenian behavior in the US should include those things, and that will be okay. But now when you see some Armenian girls, you're going to call them half-naked. If you go in society today, into the 21st century, almost every Armenian woman wears the same thing. Have you guys went to Armenian schools in the morning when parents are dropping their kids? I'm just going to say 51% of the Armenian mothers have already went to their hairstylist to fix their hair, put the makeup, put the tight pants or whatever they wear, and come and drop their kids so that everybody else will look at them. Now, is this reality? It is reality. But if we move them and put them on television, it becomes, no, you can't do that thing. Why? Because Armenians have amote. Sex does not exist within the Armenian society. An Armenian female cannot freely express that she wants to sleep with a guy. Why? Because Armenian women are not eligible to have sex. Is that the right way of expressing? Now, again, my issue is not for the show or against the show. My issue is about expression, freedom of speech, freedom of presenting whatever you want to do. As an artist, you can paint Ararat mountain and every Armenian will clap and say, bravo! But if you draw a naked Armenian woman with her vagina or her breast, will every Armenian person clap and say, you're a great artist? Well, as I have always mentioned, rain on planet Earth starts from the clouds and comes to the ground. Armenian rain starts from the ground and goes up to the clouds. So here is the hypocrisy that we live in. Now, the same situation is in Armenia. Don't we know that there are lots of whores in Armenia? They work for money. I mean, we have seen all those news footages and things about certain districts in Armenia where they have hookers walking on the street. But no, Armenia is the motherland where there are only churches and people are spiritually rich, connecting themselves to the God above. On the other side, you do have hookers and you do have escort service of Armenian females. Now, if somebody writes about those things, no, you can't. Why? Because Armenians don't have hookers. We are just as human as any other race on this planet. Oh, it's very racist to say only Russian women they have whores, that Armenian men do them right and left. It is very racist to say Latin women are what Armenian men desire and each one of them have a girlfriend on the side. Or how about Armenian men in Armenia, they have their wives and 3 kids, but for their sexual fantasies, they have a 21, 22-year-old Armenian girl on the side, which they finance their existence, and the wife knows about it because the wife is not allowed to have a sexual desires or fantasies because she's the mother, and being a mother is a sainthood. But yet that 22, 23-year-old girl in Armenia can function for all the sexual desire of the male. So here is the hypocrisy that I'm talking about, why Armenians don't like reality. And now this Glendale Live show is reality. Yes, over 51%. I'm just going to say 51 so that somebody will tell me, can you prove it? And then when I prove that it's almost 89% of today's society in Armenia, or in Glendale, or in Lebanon, or in Syria, or in Iran, Armenian females are more liberated and they can express as the same way as Armenian men will express. An Armenian man will look at a nice, good-looking woman and say, I would do her. Oh, shame on you. No, nobody tells them, shame on you. Actually, they will clap. Men will come together and start talking about their victory over women. But suddenly, if women do those things, then women and men in society, and the very small portion of the society, Armenian society, will start judging. You know why? Remember the stop sign story? You stop because you have logic, you see that there is a stop sign, or you stop because of your fear of getting ticketed. So in the same way, when you look at society from a reality, if you're logical, you say this is life. If you're emotional and not logical, you start creating the myths about how Armenians were. Back in 1915, 100 years ago, today we're commemorating. Actually, it's a celebration, but in a hypocrisy, you call it commemoration. The 100th anniversary of the genocide. How come they're portraying Armenian women as liberals? After the commercial break, I'll continue with the hypocrisy that is dominant within the Armenian society. Bari Luys.
Գարունն առաջարկում է նախաճաշի սերուցք, Կալիֆոռնիայի թարմ կաթից պատրաստված, բնական, առանց արհեստական հավելումների։ Գարունի այս կատնամթերքը անփոխարինելի է նախաճաշի համար։ Այն շատ համեղ է հացի, մեղրի կամ մուրաբայի հետ։ Սկսեք ձեր օրը գարուն նախաճաշի սերուցքով։ Գարուն, համեղության անուն։
Central Optometry կենտրոնն ու Board Certified ակնաբուժ Սոնա Սիրունյանը առաջարկում են ակնաբուժական ծառայությունների լայն ցանկ, այդ թվում աչքի ընդհանուր քննություն, ակնային հիվանդությունների ախտորոշում եւ բուժում։ Աչքերի չորության բուժման համար այստեղ կիրառվում է շրջանում միակը հանդիսացող Lippi Flow բարձրորակ սարքավորում։ Մանկական ակնաբուժական ծառայություններ եւ այլն։ Central Optometry-ն առաջարկում է նաեւ contact lens-երի եւ հայտնի պիտակների օպտիկական ակնոցների լայն ընտրանի։ Central Optometry կյանքին նայեք առողջ եւ գեղեցիկ աչքերով։ LABK Services հաստատությունը առաջարկում է սննկացման, bankruptcy-ի հայտարարագրման ծառայություններ։ Դիմումների ամբողջական լրացում 1 ցածր արժեքով։ $399 գումարած արձանագրության պետական վճարումը։ Bankruptcy-ի դիմելու դյուրին ընթացք, ժամանակի ու դրամի խնայողություն։ Մենք երաշխավորում ենք սննկացման գործընթացի գաղտնապահությունը։ Bankruptcy-ի հետ կապված բոլոր հարցերով դիմեք LABK Services գրասենյակ։
Շատ մարդիկ են ապրում ստրեսի եւ դեպրեսիայի նշաններով, ինչպիսիք են ներվային վիճակը, տխրությունը, հիասթափությունը, մտահոգությունը, քնելու դժվարությունը եւ էներգիայի պակասությունը, եւ չգիտեն ինչպես վարվել կամ դիմադրել։ Այդպիսի դժվարությունները խտրականություն չեն դնում տղամարդկանց, կանանց, ծերերի կամ երիտասարդների միջև։ Եթե դուք կամ մեկը ում ճանաչում եք այդպիսի զգացումներ ունի, մենակ մի տարապեք։ Կարող եք օգնություն ստանալ։ Զանգահարեք այս համարին։ Ձեր զանգը գաղտնի եւ ապահով կմնա։
Welcome to Hall and Chambers. We embrace a tradition of building communities, building dreams. For over 25 years, we've been providing superior real estate services, original approaches for optimal results. One of the fastest growing real estate firms in the region, over 400 agents, and 5 locations to serve you. At Hall and Chambers, we advocate homeownership, property rights, and quality of life. Hall and Chambers, delivering optimal experiences in purchasing your dream home.
Bari Luys. I usually use the word abush, that means stupid. But the Armenian definition of abush comes from the word ushim, which means smart. And then the way it's explained is, if I tell you something and you understand it, you're a smart person. If I tell it to you 10 times and then you will understand it, you're an abush, because the negative suffix of ab comes in front of the ushim and it becomes abush. Now, I'm going to repeat one more time, because we do have English-speaking Armenians who are on the left, 51%, who will not understand what I'm talking about, and they're going to say anything they want about me defending the Glendale Life program. Well, let me say it again. I am not defending the program. I'm just defending the right of any human being to express freely. Without the typical taboos that we have, then we cannot talk about. I mean, look from the Christian faith. Adam and Eve and 2 sons. Adam and Eve are the beginning of humanity, and they had 2 sons. So the biggest taboo is the relationship that the 2 sons had with Eve, because there were no other females so that they can have babies except Eve. Now, can you express it that way? No, amote. There's another word in Armenian, amote. It's not an Italian word, it's an Armenian word. So, I have chosen in my life not to watch any Armenian soap operas, because they're stupid. The content, the storyline, and it has all the taboos in them. A man having an affair outside of the marriage, a woman who wants to have sex, she's not allowed to have it, and such on and such on. So it doesn't interest me, I don't watch it. So if you guys don't like the program called Glendale Life, nobody's forcing you to watch it. And the assumption that Glendale Life represents your life in Glendale, nobody's accusing you that you are just like them. So you continue with your spiritual life, you continue with your surp and danik, and I know so many surp and daniks that there's nothing surp about them, because they're just doing everything without being obvious that they're doing it. So you have the choice of not watching it. As far as Armenians in Armenia who are becoming so irrational about the idea of Glendale Life, my dear fellow Armenians in Armenia, the Soviet Union collapsed, and you are so free. You have the choice of not watching. Back in the days when the Soviet Union was present, you were asked to watch, because at the end they asked you if you have watched it. Now nobody wants you to watch Glendale Life. Don't watch it if you don't like it. But ironically, it has good rating. Everybody's watching it, even the people who don't want to. I watched 2 shows of that program. It does not interest me. I watch it because so when I talk to you about it, I know something about it. So I'm not just talking haphazardly about it. Now, the only reason I came with this story today is because what I read in the Armenian newspapers in Armenia through the internet, where people are bringing the genocide into this topic, where people are bringing the Glendale mayor is Armenian, how come he does not talk about it? See how stupid still Armenian mind is? It is so unfortunate. Again, you don't like it, don't watch it. Just as you don't like my show, but you sit down and watch my show, you are watching that show. Ironically, the human being has the ability to choose. In your case, ironically, because you cannot choose. You are given so many choices, yet you sit down and watch that show. So, as far as Armenian females being liberated, wake up, my fellow Armenian man. And wake up, my fellow Armenian woman who never knew what an orgasm is, and they're in their 60s and 70s as age, because there was a direct order on them, amote. Yet, so many of them knew how to do it, but they will not express it. Today's Armenian women are more liberated. Now, the issue of the English and the Armenian language on that show, let the linguist decide on it. The Armenian words are so badly used. That's because it's reality of our society. Our kids who are growing up in Armenia and in Los Angeles, they don't know Armenian. They utilize everything from Persian, Turkish, Arabic, English, and especially today in Armenia, when they have accepted all those Latin words as part of the Eastern Armenian language. Think about that, my friend, the Armenian person who is so concerned about 100 years ago, virgin Armenian girls killed themselves so that Turks will not rape them. There were few. The rest moved on. It's so interesting. Now you find out about all those Armenians who were converted to Turks. How did it happen? Allah told them not to do it. Wake up, my fellow Armenians. Wake up and be as liberal as you can be to the limitations that you like to be. And if you don't like it, just change to another channel. Nobody's forcing you to watch it. Till next time, Bari Luys.
Աբուշիմեգը պիտի լաս, եթե չհասկնաս, որ Ամերիկայի Միացյալ Նահանգները հայկական է։ Bari Luys.